Fox News Chief White House correspondent. Well, my next guest says the president's budget does nothing to secure our financial future, but it does raise our deficit and debt, and it does raise taxes. Joining us now, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Congressman Bob Goodlatte of Virginia. Good to have you with us, Congressman.
Good to be with you, Lou.
Let's start with this budget, if we may. This is, Senator Mitch McConnell said it's more of a left-wing wish list than a budget. How do you see it?
Well, first let's start with the fact that it's 65 days late, and the purpose of the president providing a budget to the Congress writes the budget. The president doesn't even get to sign it into law. So the purpose of him providing it is to advise the Congress on the needs of the administration. So here, after the House has passed a budget, after the Senate has passed a budget, finally he comes in with a budget. It is of no help to us. And as you noted, it includes $8 trillion in new spending, $1.1 trillion in new taxes. It never balances. And $964 billion, almost $1 trillion of that spending is new spending, new proposals. And it reminds me of the stimulus that the president offered a few years ago that was supposed to jumpstart our economy and get jobs created in this country, and had, in my opinion and many people's opinion, the opposite effect.
And the Obama budget, if we were to look at it and simply say, at what point does it balance? The answer is never. The spending programs that he's calling on, he's asking for another $50 billion in infrastructure spending. There is, if I may, I'm trying to be as generous to the president as I possibly can, but there seems to be no strategy, no architecture to this budget at all, irrespective of the partisan views or the ideological views that surround it.
Right. No connection to the realities that we're facing in dealing with writing a budget, working out the differences with the Senate. This is a budget, since it never balances, I think would be irrelevant to most American families and businesses who have to balance their budgets and have to meet their obligations and not live beyond their means. But in spite of all the debate that we've had over the last several years, the fact that we haven't balanced our budget in a long time doesn't seem to matter to this administration. That's very disturbing. I'm proud that we offered a budget in the House that balances in 10 years inside the budget window. That's an improvement over our budget from last year, which didn't balance for 27 years. I think we can do even better. I voted for a budget that balances in just 4 years. We have a serious problem with overspending by our government, and we've got to tackle that. And the president did put in a few changes, with regard to entitlement reforms.
Right.
Those are modest steps in the right direction, but he should unchain those from his requirement for yet another tax increase. Yeah. And let's begin the process of looking at that 2/3 of our budget that has been largely untouched and needs to be reformed, because that's the part that's growing. In the case of the health care programs, at 4 times the rate of inflation. Totally unsustainable, totally eating up the tax increase he just got and the spending savings that we've accomplished through sequestration and other reductions. It's all going to go to fund an out-of-control series of entitlement programs that badly need to be reformed.
Mr. Chairman, I look at $200 billion, which is oft considered and pegged as the number. $200 billion a year in waste in Medicare alone, waste and fraud. And you have examined much of the waste and fraud that's going on in government. You've identified some of some things most recently in the Justice Department that I find extraordinary. I have to start with $12 coffees and $116,000 with sunglasses. How in the world does a federal agency spend money on sunglasses?
Well, that's a truly amazing thing. And even if you have a law enforcement agent that needs to have some kind of protection for their eyes when they're out and about, it certainly doesn't need to cost the taxpayers $116,000 to buy sunglasses. The big ticket item that we found so far is $165 million for a prison in the president's home state of Illinois that the taxpayers of this country bought from the state of Illinois, when the Bureau of Prisons, the U.S. Bureau of Prisons, already has 4 empty prisons waiting for use. He's added a fifth one, and it's going to cost us $6 million a year just to maintain the empty prison, and to get it ready to be occupied, another $70 million for something that clearly we don't need if we've got 4 prisons online waiting to be used already.
Congressman, extraordinary. We thank you as always for being here. We appreciate it. Congressman
Thanks, Lou.
Bob Goodlatte, he is the chairman of the House Judiciary.